prosecution outlined how accounting practices of comic suckers did not.
What kind of likeness is that? If they were great artists, they'll be in a museum.
Evidence today may signal at least one.
You fucking fodder for cartoonists now?
Welcome to another episode of Gutter Boys. Gutter Boys is a small press comics podcast about the ins, the outs, the highs, and the lows of making comics. I'm your host, JB, with my co-host, Cam. Shout out to Dan Klaus if you're listening.
What up, Dan?
On today's episode, this one is actually pulled from the Hocking Hills vault. I think we got like two more after this one.
Yeah, we've got interviews with Alex Knoll and Emmy Guinness.
Yes. So for this episode, we are finally joined by the legend that is Nate McDonough.
Yeah, old Grixly. Y'all might know him as Grixly online.
Grixly Cola. He's a Pittsburgh-based cartoonist.
All-around pimp.
Well, yes, we know that. Confirmed
Dude's
pimp.
Rock Army soldier. Nate is honestly one of my favorite people that I've met through comics, to be honest. It was a real treat hanging out with him at the cabin. I don't recall. It's been like a couple months now, but I feel like this episode's off the chain.
Yeah, no, it was very funny. I'm going to go ahead and be honest here. While I was editing it, there's not, by the way, if you're listening to this now, there's not a whole lot I edited out. There's a few things here and there I cut out and tried to smooth out here. But for the most part, the audio is fine. But keep in mind, there is a table tennis game going on in the background.
At Nate's request.
Right.
JB and I remember now, you and I tried to tell them to go upstairs and Nate was like, no, please let them keep playing all throughout my episode. Yeah. Was it very present on the recording?
Yes. It is. Yeah, you can hear Caroline Cash and who else was playing?
Pat
Rooks. Pat Rooks. Yeah. You can hear them playing in the background for sure throughout the whole interview.
That's fucking amazing. All right. Hell yeah. So spoiler alert. Yeah, definitely listen to that interview.
This one's really a true certified banger. Not going to lie. I really like this interview. Nate is basically like, if you could take your cool uncle and then go into a time machine and hang out when he's your age. That's basically Nate McDonough.
Yeah. Fucking awesome dude. Great hang. Amazing artist and cartoonist.
Yes.
Really understands how comics work, more so than a lot of people I know. I sat down and had conversations with that guy and I was just like really amazed by his approach to the medium and, what he takes away from it. So yeah, very cool interview. I'm actually looking forward to listening to it myself.
Yeah. And he's a great writer too. That's a big flex, being a great writer and cartoonist. So good on you, Nate.
Yeah.
All right. So before we get into our interview, we have some news and shout outs to go over. Let's see here. Let me pull out the old Cartoonist Weekly.
Yep.
Dust that shit off. Okay. This is something that's been discussed for the last few weeks, so it's not exactly breaking. But as many of you already know, Portland-based Image Comics, the workers have begun forming their first ever comic book workers union there. Comic Book Workers Unite made the announcement back on November 1st in a statement signed by 10 of the company's 12 employees. Fuck those two people that did not join. Fucking scabs. Anyway, in the statement, union members describe an all too familiar workplace culture. Quote unquote, keeping our heads above water was the new normal before the pandemic, and since its onset, we have been expected to take on even larger workloads with fewer resources, they wrote. We love what we do, but loving what you do doesn't mean you can't or shouldn't ask for improvements to your working conditions. Fucking preach.
Mm-hmm.
As of November 5th, Image Comics has failed to voluntarily recognize the union. As a result, Comic Book Workers Unite has filed a petition with the National Labor Review Board to hold a union election. Since January, there have been nearly 300 strikes across the U.S., with Portland seeing their fair share of union activity. if any of you have been, conscious the last few months, you can tell that there's been a wave of people leaving their jobs.
Hell yeah.
Mostly due to shitty work conditions, low pay. They're just being overworked. And it's getting to the point now where people who are usually used to eating shit every day are now saying enough is enough.
Hey, I don't have to eat shit every day.
Yeah, right. So this is obviously great news. Big shout out to the 10 out of those 12 employees over at Image. Obviously, we are rooting for the union to be formally recognized.
Okay, well, hang on. I do want to bring up something that I don't necessarily fully agree with. I guess I need to see how it irons out.
Sure.
All in all, I want to just start this off by saying that this is great. If this one doesn't go through, then, at least this is a foot in the door, and Image is a good place for the quote unquote mainstream to see this and get the conversation going. But from what I understand, and this is totally cool, like, I understand where they're coming from, but I'm going to read it and then I'm going to follow up with some thoughts on it. So on their website, they have a section that says what we hope to achieve. And there is an overview and there's 9 bullet points. The majority of them I agree with. However, the 9th one is a renewed commitment to company values through the addition of a collective voting option to immediately cancel publication of any title whose creators have been found to have engaged in abuse, sexual assault, racism, xenophobia, homophobia, transphobia, anti-Semitism, Islamophobia, ableism, etc. I agree that this shit, abusers and, so forth should not have a space at the table. However, do you think this is going to be some kind of like quote unquote boys club where, they could use it to their advantage to cancel books?
Yeah. I mean, here's the thing. This stuff has always been a thing that can be exploited.
Yes, correct.
We're seeing that now more than ever, right? Mm-hmm. Like you can use social justice speak as a cudgel to dismantle anything really that you just don't agree with.
Right. And that's where I'm kind of just like, there needs to be maybe a third party involved because, like, let's be real. How catty are some of the group DMs we have with cartoonists and comics people in them?
Sure.
People like each other. People hate each other. So it's like, I feel like I don't disagree with, the sentiment there, but it's like, who's going to make this call? And they did say, a vote.
Right.
But we all know that everybody runs in their own fucking cliques and circles here.
Sure. But, I feel like they'll be able to handle their own business internally within, their own union and vote it out.
Yeah. Okay. That's what I was just like, just want to discuss. Like I said, I agree with it, but who? I
mean, because their shit on Image is just like shouldn't be printed. Like
I agree. Yeah.
And we can talk about abusers and also, I mean, here's another thing too. I don't agree with putting sexual assault in the same category as saying the R word.
Yeah, totally.
You know what? Maybe I'm wrong.
No, I mean, I agree with you. We could both be wrong there, but yeah, exactly. That's what I'm saying. So like you tweet a joke out, like, does that mean your book's getting canceled if enough people don't like that joke?
Yeah, maybe. But also, with any publisher, right?
You're going to get in trouble from the editors doing that shit anyway.
Yes, exactly. Editors are watching, as they say, as they've proudly fucking told everyone on Twitter.
Yeah, I guess that's what I mean is like, I don't necessarily disagree with this idea, but who watches The Watchmen, baby?
Yeah, but again, I think the question you bring up is far more far-reaching than this particular policy that they want to implement within their union, which it's within their right. And if it's voted on, hey, go for it.
Cool. Yeah, totally. And like I said, like I agree with it. It's just like, wanting to discuss that on the show, offer a different viewpoint, but because I know how catty this
of course,
quote unquote business can be.
Of course.
So I just hope no one falls victim to that. Is
right.
What I'm hoping there.
Yeah, no, that's fair. Yeah, there's plenty of pettiness in the comic industry. There's plenty of that really in fucking any line of work.
True. Yeah.
It's just kind of those unavoidable things. But I don't know. Maybe I'm being a little too, what's the word? Because I don't ever really use it. The opposite of cynical.
Optimistic?
There you go. There it is. I'm not really the optimistic type. But, in this case, I'm trying to be optimistic.
Oh, yeah, because I'm definitely pro-union. We need one in comics. I hope there is a trickle-down effect or just, a trickle-up effect, rather. I mean, if we could get under, like, kind of like what Hollywood has, like one fucking guild or union, that would be fucking awesome.
Yeah.
And I think this is a step in the right direction. I hope it works out. But let's go ahead and talk about Uncle Todd. This is kind of tied in.
Yeah. So speaking of Image, one of its founding members and beloved figure in comics history is Todd McFarlane. McFarlane. Many of you remember him when he was throwing cash like he just won the lotto, buying up fucking what?
Mark McGwire hit baseballs that he bought.
Mark McGwire, yeah, there you go. Yeah, he bought a baseball and getting into legal tiffs with Neil Gaiman, which he lost. But, but his newest endeavor is NFTs, the most beloved, newest art form, breaking all the rules. This news honestly kind of took me back because I knew Todd is a bit kind of like, I don't know, out of touch, for the lack of a better word.
Oh, yeah, totally.
And hey, that's fair. I mean, whatever. You're an old guy. Just, who cares? But this is what happens when you take an old, out of touch guy and you link them in with someone who, like a millennial tech guy, and it's never a good thing. Like, it's
this was totally
the combination is never good.
I feel like Todd's team put this together.
He probably,
yeah.
but he still signed something, right?
Oh,
like
for
he still
sure.
had final say.
Yeah,
he
definitely,
looked at this and was like, "This is a good idea. I think we are making progress here." So on November 9th, Steve Aoki, who I still don't really know who that is or what he does.
Okay, so Steve Aoki is a DJ, but do you remember the label Dim Mak? Back in the day, the punk label, they ended up like going into dance stuff. Okay, no. He ran that label. His dad's very rich and owns the Benihana chain of restaurants.
Okay, so maybe we should change this. On November 9th, trust funder Steve Aoki announced a new partnership with the popular comic book artist and Spawn creator Todd McFarlane. The two plan to launch a non-fungible token marketplace that leverages the Solana blockchain. I don't fucking know what that means. I don't care either.
Yeah.
The NFT marketplace will be Odd Key, and Aoki and McFarlane aim to launch a platform on November 18th. They announced that one of the first drops on the platform will be McFarlane's notorious Spawn number 1 from 1992. So it's a digital copy of Spawn number 1, the same one I can get
on
from Pirate Bay. I meant Comixology. But instead I have to pay 6 billion fucking magical tokens or whatever the fuck money they use.
Read comicsonline.io.
There you
go. I think that's the website. It'll give your computer AIDS, but you can read Spawn number 1 for free.
Yeah, so
allegedly,
yes. According to this press release, this will be the first time in 30 years that Todd McFarlane has authorized or authenticated any original art for sale, digital or otherwise. For the first time, Spawn original art will be made available to the public. Keep in mind, digital. You're not going to actually own his original art. You're going to own a fucking JPEG of his art that you can get anywhere. Go on Google, type in Spawn number 1.
High res scan.
High res. Yeah, if you're using Google, go to tools and then go to size, that little drop down button there. Click that and then click large. Okay. And then that'll bring up all the largest sized high-res images of that search term you used. And then if you have a mouse, you hit that right click. Okay. And then save image as. Okay. You click that and boom, you're done. You now are a proud owner of an NFT. Good job. You just bypassed all of that bullshit. Anyway. Furthermore, following the initial launch, different sections of the marketplace will go live, and the market will have a featured artist section and a section of lesser-known artists called Artist Alley. Oh, man. The partnership announcement between McFarlane and Aoki explains that the Odd Key market was built off of the same mentality McFarlane established with Image Comics. Yikes. I want to create a world where creators create freely, McFarlane remarked about Odd Key's creation, a place where creators could control their creative and financial freedom the way that I was able to, the comic book artist added. Aoki's involved in NFT assets for a while, blah, blah, blah. Dims, I don't care. I think
Dim
Todd,
Mac.
yeah, I don't care. The project further noted that Odd Key storefront will be leveraging the Solana. Okay, I don't care about that. NFTs minted via the Metaplex protocol. God, this is so fucking lame. I would say that this news, on top of, Image not recognizing their union, not a good look. Todd, not a very good look at all, actually. In fact, this goes counter to your statement about having creators control their creative and financial freedom. It sounds I don't know. I don't see this news and that statement meshing well.
Totally.
Like we can ignore the whole environmental impact of NFTs and crypto in general and how fucking horrible that is. Let's go to the brass tacks of like how NFTs function and the fact that there's already a rampant issue issue of artists having their artwork stolen and then sold as an NFT to fucking idiots, meaning that artist does not get a single cent from the sale of their original artwork. What are you going to do about that? No one's really addressing it because obviously it is such a huge fundamental aspect of how NFTs function, like how that marketplace works. So the incongruency of all this is just really funny to me. I'm sure Oddkey will do great because Aoki's daddy has a lot of money. So, even if it fails, who cares? Like, that's just a tax write-off, like whatever.
Yeah.
This is pretty much just more bullshit for 2021 as we come to an end to the year. So I don't know. I, for one, am really looking forward to the possible new ways to make me want to blow my brains out in 2022. So this is promising.
Yeah.
What are your thoughts, Cam?
I just think NFTs are fucking lame, and I'm not against artists making money. And the thing is when you were reading me Todd's little spiel about how like this is exactly what Image was founded on, like, yeah, you could apply that to Image if you want, but like you said, like it's just like a weird fucking like dynamic. I mean, I'm sure at this point Todd is so fucking detached from Image. He's probably just a name on the fucking masthead. Yeah. But, it's still not a good look. I don't know if Todd's even in tune with like the scene and knows that NFTs are bad. Like you look at someone like Liefeld, he's extremely online. I don't know if Todd's online.
As online as he is, he didn't really piece together what an NFT really was. I mean, that motherfucker literally tweeted, "What is an NFT?"
Didn't he say he was going to do one? And then everybody was like, "Fuck off, dude." And he was like, "Okay." And he just pulled it.
Right. Yeah. So I don't know. I mean, I feel like Todd just kind of, I'm assuming him and Aoki are friends, right?
I don't know, man. Like,
because I think I've seen this before. I've seen his name come up with Todd's name before, and I think they are friends. I think it was
Aoki probably just grew up a Spawn fan and was rich enough to hang out with Todd.
Sure. Right. And they became best buds, and he probably just took his word for it. And it's just because Aoki, according to this, has been deeply invested in NFTs since the beginning.
I believe it. You know who Aoki's sister is? Devin Aoki, the Asian from Too Fast, Too Furious, the Asian girl. Do you remember that?
I don't know who that is.
She was like a model in like 2003, and she was in the movie. But that's it. That's all I had to add.
Oh, wow.
She fell off. I will say this. Liefeld did retweet the Image Comic Union.
He did. Yeah. I wonder how much sway he has with that at all.
Zero. He got fired and they like let him back in for the 30th anniversary.
Well, that's what I mean. If he's like in good graces again.
Yeah, he's in good graces, but I mean, like, Liefeld really doesn't give a fuck. That motherfucker just straight shoots from the hip on everything at any time. Like, he'll straight up be like, Image sucks dick, and he'll be drawing a Marvel book and be like, yeah, Marvel sucks too, but I'm doing the fucking book, so like...
Yeah, and then he'll immediately fuck himself over at Marvel.
Yeah, my man just sees dollar signs, which I respect.
I mean, that's what Todd does. To be fair,
yeah.
Todd saw this deal, saw money signs because Aoki fucking scammed him into the idea.
Yeah, see, Todd has like celebrity money where Rob is just like very wealthy. Like Rob's a millionaire, but Rob isn't like Todd. Like Rob's still having to like sign, at stores and shit. Todd's not doing that.
Well, I just don't understand is just like, why can't he just stick to the toys?
Yeah, I don't know. Maybe, midlife crisis.
He's already busy with that. You're running a fucking toy company, right? You are the key holder of the DC license to manufacture DC figures.
Those figures suck. We don't have to go into it too bad.
They're awful. They're awful.
They look terrible. Yeah.
They look real shitty. I mean, let's be honest. The McFarlane company as a toy company has fallen off. It's been like 20 plus years. They're still behind.
Yeah, trailblazers, but they got left in the dust.
Yes, which I mean, that you could say the same about Image Comics before Walking Dead.
True. Very true. Yeah. But, they were on the verge of I'm pretty sure they're still on the verge of bankruptcy now.
Probably. Allegedly on the verge. We don't know.
Yeah. Allegedly.
Yeah. I'm not trying to get sued here.
Yeah.
But I do wish he just stuck with toys, man. Like he did all these Kickstarters and fucking fundraisers, sold that Spawn figure from Spawn issue 1, and it came with his autograph. And but now you can just own nothing. It's just a bunch of fucking code and a JPEG. Congrats.
Hell yeah. NFTs are fucking lame. That's the Gutter Boy stance. Unions are good.
Yes.
That's a takeaway here.
Todd, breaking news. Pretty cringe, bro. That's really, I hate to see that. I know how much everybody loves Todd, but man, this motherfucker fell off. pretty
Yeah,
hard.
this sucks, man. This sucks. So close to Simp of the Year being awarded too. This sucks, man.
Yeah, he might take it, honestly.
Not a good look for you, brother. Yeah, not a good look.
That's a real shame. Anyway, all right, so let's move on to shout-outs.
Yeah, we did get a really cool comic in the mail from Heather Losey, Heather of Love on Instagram, no spaces. It is called Next Volume 1. It's a really nice Riso printed comic. I'll be completely honest. It's very, very rare nowadays that I read a comic and immediately pick it back up to reread it. This is like, a standard floppy. I want to say, anywhere from 16 to 24 pages, but gorgeously printed. It's a story about Heather going on the MTV reality show Next. It's really fucking funny. So Heather also wrote a letter, and it says, "Hey, this is my first ever self-published comic. I had never done Riso color separations by myself, so it's not as vibrant as it was intended, and so my pages look shitty, but whatever. I disagree, Heather." They continued, "I love the pod. You guys are hilarious, and it's super helpful to hear anyone talk about comics and self-publishing, as I am not involved in the scene at all yet. Anyway, hope you like it. Have a great day, Heather." Yeah, great comic. JB will get his copy. He's actually going to see me next week. We'll be hanging out in real life. And everybody's comics, I've got them all right here in a pile, and they're all going to go to JB. But Heather, great work. I didn't really believe that this was their first ever comic, so I was DMing them with them earlier, and they apparently had put out stuff in like anthologies and online. They did a comic about dating Michael Imperioli.
Oh.
And Michael Imperioli actually saw that he was tagged in it, loved the comic, DM'd them, and followed her. So
that's awesome.
Yeah, she has the Chrissy stamp of approval as well as the Gutter Boy stamp of approval, in my opinion. And yeah, that's all I got.
All right. We also want to shout out past guest and a very good friend of the show, Yewan Kwan. They are a Seattle-based illustrator, cartoonist, formerly Chicago-based, like we all were once upon a time. They sent over a really amazing risograph print of the god, Minoru Suzuki.
Yep.
Japanese pro wrestling and MMA legend. Very, very fancy. Really appreciate that, Yewan. Also, totally. Another shout out to Carly Hack, friend of the show, cartoonist based out of Minneapolis. Yes, has a really fucking hilarious comic called Ski Mask Jerry. And they're also a pro wrestler. I don't want to, is this...
breaking kayfabe?
Yeah, I don't want to break kayfabe.
Let's wait till they're on the show.
Yeah. Okay. All right. Well, they're wrestler. Yeah. You don't, just fucking look up Carly. And anyway, they recently did an interview over at Racket MN, which I believe is a Minneapolis-based news culture website / rag. And in it, they were nice enough to shout out MS Harkness, past guest, friend of the show, yada, yada. And also me. Weirdly enough. And they also shouted out Hardway. Rest in peace, Hardway. It was a good run.
Is that the first documentation of y'all being over? Like, I've known it's over, but have y'all made a statement?
Yeah. I'm pretty sure Joe, the other co-owner, made some statements on Twitter and maybe Instagram, saying, hey, we're closing shop, yada, yada.
Oh, yeah, you guys did have the liquidation sale of leftovers. Yeah, okay, cool. Yeah. Sorry.
I still have a couple of garments left over, so if any of you all listening that are a fan of pro wrestling or what we were doing at Hardway and missed out on some things, hit me up. I might be able to help you out. But anyway, thank you for the shout out. Really appreciate it. Carly is just, honestly, someone to be on the lookout for in terms of their art and their comics. They do paintings and drawings too, which are really, really great. Check them out on Instagram if you want to see more of their artwork at CHackArt. That's CHAACKART. Also, if you want to check out Yewan's work, which if you haven't already, you should. Go on their Instagram account at YayStation4. Great username. And then a final shout out goes to past guest Aubrey Sitterson. They recently announced their newest Kickstarter campaign for the return of Beef Bros. The newest issue, Beef Bros Behind Bars, where we will see the return of Huey and Ajax Beef as they take on the prison industrial complex and the entirety of the carceral state in this double-sized graphic novella. They are currently, looks like about 3/4 funded already, and there's 11 days to go as of the recording of this. So if you're listening to this as it airs on the 15th, that means you have 9 more days to go and pledge. So definitely recommend checking out that campaign. Issue 1 was great. Artist and friend Terrell Cannon really knocked it out of the park.
Totally.
Terrell's been on one for
Crushing.
the last 2 years. they have really fucking done something here where I don't know. I don't know. They got a fire under their ass and they just started pumping out shit, and it's just been top quality stuff. But yeah, go check out that Kickstarter campaign. Pledge if you want to get a copy. It gets the Gutter Boy seal of approval.
Yep. Absolutely. Alrighty, so we're going to go ahead and get out of here so you can listen to our interview with Nate McDonough. As always, you can support us on Patreon by going to patreon.com/gutterboys or gutterboys.top. For $5 a month, you get 2 bonus episodes. $10 a month, you get those episodes plus a zine in the mail every month. Next month is going to be our end of the year special where there's going to be some best of lists and so forth. And so if you want to subscribe to our Patreon by December 1st, that's the cutoff date to get that. If you want to see, what I thought the best comics of the year were, I'm going to do a little write-up, and maybe I can coax JB into writing about his favorite shit of the year, too.
Oh, there you go.
Yeah, we'll see. But a very special one. Very special issue there. Also, if you want to advertise your comic with us, you can sign up for a $12 advertisers tier. You get 4 ads. Just send us a copy, or you can make a commercial yourself. And and
also, we do want to announce that at the end of the year, we will be debuting the Gutter Boys' first NFT. So be on the lookout for that. All you have to do is PayPal us or pledge on the Patreon page at gutterboys.top. If you pledge us $2,000, we will email you a JPEG of a drawing that we both did together. And in it will include a bunch of gibberish and then some kanji, a Word doc saying you own this JPEG.
Yeah.
And it's a limited number. We're only doing a run of 20 of these. So, just saying, you'll want to save up some cash because this is going to be a pretty hot seller, I think.
Yeah, I think that we're going to limit it to 20 spots. So the first 20 people to pledge $2,000 get one of these limited numbered NFTs.
Yes, there you go.
Also, I should have said this, but we do have an extra copy of Blue Lives by Nate McDonough. He gave me 2. So we're going to do a giveaway. Stay tuned to our Instagram and Twitter at GutterboysPod and look for a photo promoting this episode with Nate's Blue Lives book. And I'll ask Nate what he wants to do as far as a contest to get a copy of that book to one of y'all.
Yes, and now you have to suss out which one of those was a bit.
Yes.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, and when we return, we'll be joined by Big Dog Nate McDonough, so stay tuned.
Big Dick Nate McDonough.
Big Dick Nate McDonough, my bad. Yes.
We'll be right back.
Rust Belt Review is a quarterly comics lit magazine featuring serialized and short-form comics from some of the most exciting cartoonists in the small press scene today. Volume 1 features work from Gutter alums M.S. Harkness, Audra Stang, and Caleb Orecchio, along with work by Andrew Greenstone, Sean Knickerbocker, and Juan Jose Fernandez. You can order your copy of Rust Belt Review today by going to rustbeltreview.org. Enter in promo code GUTTER to receive $2 off your order. Again, that website is rustbeltreview.org, promo code GUTTER.
Floodland brings together a series of personal and natural disasters featured in comics by Australian cartoonist and cult hero Jonathan McBurney. Beginning with the protagonist's chronic illness, it relates a long period of bizarre artistic practices, awkward art school relationships, the brutal reality of the 9-to-5 grind of the submerging artist, and culminates in the massive flood in his hometown. The peripheral characters whose lives orbit the same places and occasionally overlap through mundane circumstances include Batskiat, an artist come superhero whose successes are vastly out of proportion with his talents, Picasso Minotaur, a brawny beefcake sculptor with fire in his belly and hate in his heart, and Kirby Kelly, a hapless and constantly flummoxed experiment gone wrong. Floodland is a 96-page hardcover available from arglebarglebooks.com. Check out jonathanmcburney.com and king_of_nails on Instagram for more beefcake, wrestling, and existential conundrums.
I guess you could call that a dick.
Now, back to our program.
Nate Garcia, Nate Powell, Nate Doyle,
All the Nates.
Nate Taylor, Nate Kling.
Shout out. What's up? Yeah, hey, welcome back from the break. Cam is going to get gum. I'm joined across the table with the wonderful Nate McDonough. Nate, how you doing today?
Very good, sir. How are you?
Doing pretty damn fine. I got a nice little glass of fancy-ass wine that MS poured for us, and it's supposed to be very fancy and has all these like complicated notes or some shit. It tastes like wine to me, but it's good. It's pretty good.
I mean, all the better if you never develop
Yeah, my barbaric
fine
palate.
taste.
Yeah.
If Franzia can taste roughly as good as that, you're probably at an advantage.
Probably. Yeah, from an economic standpoint, yeah, I'd say so. Yeah. We talked a little bit before this episode, so this is kind of out of order, but that's fine. Can they hear us?
Hey, Nate, we're actually live streaming this in our Discord right now.
Yeah,
Nate
so
Garcia,
we have the
hear us,
Discord.
Go to Slam Dunk and type "You can hear us."
Yeah, so we have the Discord going on. There's also a ping pong game going on in the background with Pat Rooks and Caroline Cash.
And we originally told them that they could not play ping pong. However, our guest today, Nate, said that he wanted to be on the world's first podcast that was taking place simultaneously as a ping pong game in the same room.
Simulcast ping pong. Pat Rooks would like to say hi to Pat Sparrow and Pat Kane. What's up, boys?
Yo, I don't know Kane, but I do know Sparrow.
And Pat Keck, too. Pat Keck's a listener. Pat Keck had a really good book called Peepers on Fantagraphics. That's another cool Pat.
I like Pat Keck a lot.
Okay.
He's kind of like, he's like a homie of Josh Simmons's.
Yeah.
Yeah, they're fucking excellent.
Hell yeah. Let me see if Nate can hear us. Or
Yeah,
Nate
yeah.
Garcia.
So we have the Discord in the background so that they can hopefully hear this recording.
I don't know. He's on mute.
It doesn't matter. Anyway, so if you hear the ping pong table going on in the background, that means everything is working out just fine.
Yep.
So yeah, Nate, tell us a little bit about yourself. Tell the listeners if they've never, read your books or know about your skeezy job.
My name is Nathaniel Scott McDonough. I live in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. I wake up and I do comic shit pretty
Shameful.
continuously straight through the day. I draw a ton of stuff. I write pencil, ink, letter, publish, distribute my own comics. I've been doing Grixly for about 10, 12 years now. I'm on the 52nd issue of the title. 53 and 54 in the can, and I'm going to print them as soon as I get back to Pittsburgh.
Can I ask you a question about that real quick?
Sure, yeah.
About Grixly. I've been buying them I bought them from you a long time ago. Why do you sell that shit so cheap?
I mean, I think it's... I could have a better plan or a better outlook or a better like central mission, goal, objective with comics. But the ones that I do, I think that I've found like a nice way to partition them off from whatever it is that I have to do to make ends meet. Mm-hmm. So I can make a living with or without comics.
Yeah.
That I draw, and then once the bag has been secured, then the rest is just candy grabbing victory lap.
Right.
Where I can make a comic, and it costs me even like a lot of those Grixlys, like it cost me like 50, 60 cents to make one of those, and I gotta like collate and staple them, and it can be a pain sometimes, and you know what? There's a reward in it too. Because, I started making the Grixlys and I'd sell them for like $1 or $2 a piece.
Right.
And I made nothing. And like for a very long time, it was, but you know what? I told my buddy Dan, where it's like, we are so far ahead of the game because 90% of cartoonists lose money on the shit that they do. 9% break even and 1% make money off of it. We are among the 9% breaking even right off the bat.
Yeah.
Back when I was a kid, I never lose money on comics. Always breaking even. Tremendous victory. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
With the
Y'all are bad at ping pong, by the way. Just want to make that clear. Sorry.
No, it's all right. Can't remember what I was driving at with all of that.
But what you're saying.
But they're cheap. I get the reward of like, let's say like there's a guy who just found out about Grixly.
Yeah.
Every now and then I'll get an order where somebody gets every single thing that I have in print.
Right.
And it's like, oh, that's very much worth my time. I'd be happy to like fill orders that were like, a $2 comic with free shipping indefinitely. I really don't mind.
Yeah.
I'm flattered each and every time that somebody goes to the trouble of going out of their way to get one, but it's cool. I see people out there who just are enthusiastic enough about it that they buy like 30 individual mini comics from me, and that always makes my day. Thank you if you're listening.
Hell yeah.
So,
We love a grateful king.
yes, absolutely. So, you've been making comics for how long?
He said 10 or 15.
Since I was a kid, as long as I can remember, if I was on a desert island all by myself, I would draw them. Since I was a kid, and it's like I would just be drawing like Spider-Man and Wolverine again and again, same poses, same like six packs,
Right.
Yeah.
same like bowling pin forearm,
Yep.
football bicep, and basketball.
Balls.
That's it.
Yes, sir.
And then
We've been there.
I hit high school and I started trying to I lucked my way into finding like Pete Bagg and Dan Clowes. And
How'd you find that shit? Like, was it just because you were like
Columbus
in the
Public
shops?
Library.
Okay.
Yeah. They were fucking awesome. And it was back in the day before comics had enough prestige that they would get their own section.
Yeah.
They were under 741.5 in the Dewey Decimal System. And that's where you would have like an H.R. Giger book too, where it'd be like porno mechanics.
Yes.
So I'm like 7 years old, and I'm like 12, 13. I'm looking for Watchmen. I find it after I requested at my local library when I was growing up in Watertown, Wisconsin, where I got started. But it was right next to Porno Mechanics. so treat yourself to that one, where it's pussies and vaginas.
They're different, okay?
But it's genitals that are like dozens of miles tall that are just have like smokestacks built into them, just like meshing with one another.
Yeah. It's a beautiful thing.
Yeah.
So, how'd you come up with the name Grixly?
Is that a cola?
No, Grixly Cola is your username, right?
Yeah.
Okay, so
Grixly was already taken.
Oh, okay.
By
gotcha.
someone who was like, I think by like a defunct account from like Indonesia from like a decade ago with like 3 posts on it.
Fuck. Okay.
Yeah. So I've already
we need to hack their account.
I've sent mercenaries down there to murder the 12-year-old girl in charge of Grixly.
Yeah.
So.
His name is the Peacemaker. You can watch his adventures in the new Suicide Squad.
There you go. Going to Indonesia to get his IG handle back. Yeah.
I almost called the series Jelly Sleeve, and that's something I don't think about much anymore.
What was the meaning behind that?
Jelly Sleeve is a trademarked polymer, or like it feels like like the sticky hands that you slap around,
yeah.
like that you get like for like 10 tickets at Chuck E. Cheese's.
Yeah,
Right.
They get all fucking gross, like
with
with
tons of
topic
hair
lint
on 'em.
and-
Yeah.
Or the quarter machines. Like,
It looks like that, and it's and I only know from seeing them on TV. I swear, please trust me, penis pumps. They're real. I thought they were just in Austin Power movies, but I found out that they're real, and they got these things called jelly sleeves on them that like keep the penis pump from slicing into your body.
Oh, that's nice.
okay.
It's very thoughtful of the company.
Because you get like the vacuum going so tight that like the plastic rim will start like compacting. But anyway,
Right.
they put the jelly sleeve on it, trademarked material.
Wow.
It's like, but then I thought like, ha, jelly sleeve. I'd be so cool. And I was like 18 years old, and I was thinking about it. And like the last second, my buddy dissuaded me. He's like, call it the nonsense word that you like accidentally said, Grixly. Like that's the good one. Thanks, Andre.
What were you trying to say when you said Grixly?
Grizzly.
Oh,
Okay,
Yeah.
hell yeah.
Yeah, makes sense. Okay.
And it just stuck, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, hell yeah. Do you plan on making Grixly? I mean, you're fucking 50 issues into it at this point. Do you plan on sticking with that title for the rest of your life at this point?
Yeah, I mean, like Johnny P, fucking sweet daddy John Porcelino established a very nice template where he's well into King Cat, and he doesn't seem like super hung up on like maintaining like a quarterly schedule or like making them come out like at identical interval, and I get a kick out of that. But then it's like I started up a Patreon recently, and like 4 issues a year ain't hard to do.
Right.
But then that does come out to a little more than 100 pages, and I like it. I thought like I certainly don't ever. I mean, I feel like I'm still producing material of merit.
You had to pivot there. Yeah, brother.
It's made with real dairy.
Kayfabe, brother. Pray kayfabe. Yeah.
Grixly is the Little Caesars of comics.
Hey, that's a seal of approval right there.
Also, Little Caesars fucking rocks.
That's what I mean. Yeah.
The best memes, my favorite meme recently is the Little Caesars meme, where it's like Little Caesars taste so good when you don't have a bitch in your ear telling you it's nasty.
I like the garlic butter butter dipping sauce because you know that it has absolutely fucking nothing to do with garlic or butter.
right. Garlic substance.
Yeah.
Let's talk a little bit about your process. You've been working like a fucking machine here. This is like probably the only time you haven't been drawing is you doing these podcast episodes with us. Is that something you try to do every day? Is it just something that you don't even have to try to do at this point? It's just second nature. What's your schedule look like when you're, working? When you're not working?
I used to be a little more... I've developed a more economic style over the years, and it's a relief because I used to work for 14 hours, and I'd really slap myself on the back for adding a lot of, absolutely eye-meltingly horrible cross-hatching to a panel. You know what I'm talking about? Where it's
Yeah.
I could have drawn what I did in 14 hours in 6, and it would have looked way better, but you know what? I really put in the hours and cross-hatched the fuck out of every...
Yeah, the more lines, the better the drawing is.
Yeah, of course.
I understand
That's time-tested.
And it's a relief now because it's like I can't focus for 12 to 14 hours anymore, and I can't stay up straight through the night and go to sleep when the birds start chirping like I used to.
Yeah.
I'm getting a little bit old, but I do. And I can't even say that I draw every day, but I do consistently, and there is a compulsion, and it's a relief because, it's a blessing and a curse. You'll find yourself in a social situation, and it's not even like, oh my god, I'm crawling up the walls, and I feel so anxious, and I have no choice. But sometimes it's I would feel much better if I was drawing right now. Mm-hmm. And sometimes it's I'm going to a friend's house, and especially if he's a quiet type, I'll bring my drawing shit with me, and I can just sit in the same room, and he can just get high and play Call of Duty.
Yeah. I know what you mean.
And I can draw.
I know what you mean. We all know.
Well, one thing that I think is really interesting about your work, I've been reading. I think I've got Grixly. My Grixly collection starts in the 30s, I think, and I've got almost everything up to now, which I think is 52, 53, something 52. Like that. And you change up your style pretty often throughout these books. What is it that makes you decide, whether to lean into something? You do something with really dense colored pencil work sometimes, and then sometimes you can just tell that, you're drawing something very quickly. A lot of the times in the Grixly stuff, the autobio stuff seems to be less labor intensive as opposed to the actual stories you write. What makes you choose when to, I don't want to say turn it on because it all looks good, but I guess put more work into a strip.
I know what you mean, for sure. Yeah. And it's one of those things where it's do you know people who paint with
Yeah.
oils? You know how they can just consider the difference between drawing a black line contour of a figure, mm-hmm. and then just figuring out from there of being Keith Haring. Where that's what I can do in a comic with no effort is just do that quick contour of a figure with a easily definable black line. You see people who do a painting, and then it's it seems that fifth dimensional chess that I'll never be able to get my head around, but I can dabble in it a little bit.
Yeah.
And trial and error, and coloring's a blast because I feel there's even a time that you can look at a thing and you're I'm gonna color it, or I'm gonna fuck around with it in Photoshop and make a bunch of layers, and you have no idea what the product's gonna look like. But if it comes out sweet, that's the best feeling.
Yeah,
you're playing a hunch, and then you just kind of wind that thread out as much as you can. I guess that's the thing though. It's if I ever want to try something new, then I just fucking go to town on it.
Yeah.
And worst case scenario, it's just
you learn something from it, regardless.
Yeah. I'm gonna and then worst case scenario, you get fired from your job at the indie comics factory. You're gonna clear out your locker. They escort you from the building.
They call that cancellation now.
Yeah. Here's your pink slip at the dick sucking factory.
Yeah. So the Patreon will air before this one does. So if you're a Gutter Boys patron, you will hear some of Nate's long boxes talk on our special episode. But Nate, you do make your living off of buying and reselling comics, so you're constantly surrounded by them. Do you find it hard to want to work on comics after fucking looking at them all day?
Yeah, I do, but I won't qualify it or offer disclaimer. I must say that even when I am working for 60, 70 hours a week, Nick Mullen calls it bell to bell when he wakes up and packs t-shirt orders for 16 hours and go to sleep, and then fucking does it again the next day. Really, I'll do that shit with this eBay stuff, mm-hmm. where I'm just staring into an iPad until my eyes are melting out of my head.
Yeah.
But when I do that for say 14 hours, 12, 10, whatever, I can go easy on myself. I go and make nachos and watch a movie with a friend, and the 1 or 2 hours that I spend drawing, they feel way better and I get way more done than any 2 hours that I could have when I was working a regular job. Because it's like the essence or like the ectoplasm, it's like less depleted, you know?
Yeah.
You're more willing. There's more like juice that's still in you.
Yeah, you're not exhausted from this outside force, you know?
Yeah.
So, you pretty much see it all. What is it that makes a good comic to you as a reader?
I think fuck.
I know.
Yeah.
In my vanity, probably people who make comics a lot like my own.
Yeah.
And I find other stuff too, but it's like for sure. Which isn't to say we're very much
government
the same.
name. Who?
M.S. Harkness.
Okay, yeah, there you go.
Thanks, boys.
Yeah. That's mine. You can have some.
But then, like, my boy Max Klottfelter. You guys ever seen any of his stuff?
Yeah.
Even sometimes, like, in Grixly, I feel like I'm just doing a Max Klottfelter impression.
Wait. Did he do the Koyama book, Little Boy?
No, he didn't.
No. I know
That's
that name, though.
Cole Klauser?
Yeah. Cole Klauser. Yeah. That's who I was thinking of.
German-ass name.
Yeah.
Well, Max, his ancestors were felters of clots. I'm not sure how the fuck one goes about doing that, but it's Max Klottfelter, and he is the absolute fucking G. And he's got a book from Birdcage Bottom called Rooftop Stew.
Okay.
Yeah, I've seen that.
Yeah. That's why I know the name. Yeah.
But I mean, like, it's like his is the type, because like when you read a comic and like you have that like sensation of like I could read thousands of pages of this.
Yeah.
Because sometimes you are reading a comic and you're like willing yourself into liking it, but like it's literally 22 pages long and you're counting how many of them are left.
Right. Yeah.
Like,
you flip to the end real quick and you're like, fuck.
Totally. Yeah. It's like I really wish I like Neil Gaiman as much as everyone else does.
You're right. Yeah. Why does this page have so many words on it?
Might as well be reading a book.
So, you also seem to collaborate a lot with your comics. It seems like you get a couple out a year where, you may share art duties, you may share writing duties, you might draw something that someone else writes and so forth. Is collaborating something that you feel is important? Why do you decide to do that? A lot of people in independent comics really just make their own thing. You don't see the writer-artist dynamic a lot.
I think anyone who can draw knows how much it fucking sucks to have someone approach you and be like, I've got a cool idea. Will you draw it? Mm-hmm. Yeah, because then it's like, there's like a polite way to tell them to fuck off, and there's a rude way to tell them to fuck off, which is fuck off. And like, but I like, like you get them, and like it's like, and it's kind of like like pandemic happened, and you view the shows of the past like rose tinted goggles, and you forget that like literally any single comic show you ever table at, you're gonna have a guy come up to you and be like, yeah, well it's like Game of Thrones. But then it's also like, I don't know, Law of Order a little bit. And you got the vampires, and they travel through time, and then you got to go back. I mean,
just like a bunch of shit that would not make sense. And nine times out of 10, they don't even have a fucking script.
And they're like, actually, I've got 9 books planned, and I'm like working on it right now. And they're going to be some spin-off series. I think it's going to be a big thing.
Yeah.
There are people, and you're tight with them, and you hang out with them. They're friends. You're friends with them for years. You even draw with them regularly, and like you guys can just like hang out, put on a record, chill, draw. And I feel like they get it really well, where like they can almost like sense better than you can what it is that you like to draw.
Yeah.
And they can they can detect like it'll like, because like when you're writing a thing, sometimes it's cool when it comes to like as a bolt from the blue. And you can just like, I had a cool idea. But I feel like it's like when a friend collaborates with me, more often than not, they thought real hard about it over a very long period of time. And then like they approach me. Yeah, that's like, but I still live with my roommate Tyler, sweetest little man ever. And he doesn't have any social media. He's a cool fucking dude, but he writes my Halloween comics. And I feel like he's a sweet little guy. We watch horror movies together.
Yeah.
I got my vasectomy. That boy hung out with me and watched 13 horror movies in a row over the course of...
You got a vasectomy?
Friday, Saturday, Sunday. Yeah, boy.
Hell yeah.
I was sterilized.
Yeah, hell yeah. So you can just nudge anybody.
Here. Yeah.
Sick.
But like it's like he writes a comic every year and I draw it, and the last one that he wrote, I think he's just getting like we're getting more simpatico all the time because it's like the 5th one that we did together.
Did he write Rare Breeds?
He did, yeah.
Fantastic comic, yeah.
And I remember that I did the cover for that one. I was hanging out with my boy who like makes like 6 figures working for like a tech company, doing like animated shit for their app, and then like my other buddy who draws magic cards. And then like my other buddy who does like interactive online content for like pharma giants. Mm-hmm. And then it's like whenever I'm hanging out with these guys, it'll be like, I gotta pretend that I'm good at art. So then like I like came in and I was like, oh yeah, I'm working on the Rare Breeds cover, and I drew the fuck out of that thing, and it's like I looked at it and it's like it's just because I was hanging out with my guys who work for Satan.
Yeah, and that cover was like, it looked so fucking labor intensive with the fur coat and everything, so it's so funny that you say that.
There's a weird dichotomy where like it's like I made the mistake when I was younger, and we were talking about it earlier with all the fucking cross hatching. Not that I hate it, but like
Time and place.
I can bust a nut for some cross hatching.
Sure.
The like you make a mistake between like believing that like the amount of time that you put into a thing equals how good it is.
Yeah,
and it's rarely the case. Like think about like there's sometimes like like if you like had a chain that's supposed to be white against a black background.
Yeah.
You can like ink the chain, and then you can just gradually fill the black in around it,
right? And
like painstakingly do it, and it'll look shitty. Or you can just do flat black across the page, and then go in there with your fucking white implement.
Sir.
JB knows what the fuck I'm talking about right now.
Yes, sir.
And you go tick 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 tick, and it takes 50 seconds and look way better than what it would take in 30 minutes.
Yes,
yeah.
100%. Yes.
Do that spawn chain straight across. Yeah.
Hell yeah. So
Hey. Can we keep it down a bit?
Nate's finally mad about the ping pong game that he requested.
Yeah,
that happens during the episode.
I want you to know that Pat and Caroline are being absolute angels right now. We got Emmy down here. She's being a problem child.
Go fuck yourself.
Whoa! Hey,
Canceled.
This is an all ages podcast.
We got security coming down. Don't worry about it, listeners.
MS. What are you working on right now? Like you're working on a project here. You told me a little bit about it. Do you want to talk about it on the air?
Yeah, it's called Just a Little Boy, and it is. I remember when I was younger, and like people would come up to me at a comic show and they'd say, "What's your comic about?" And I would give them some pretentious bullshit about an artist is not obliged to explain to you what the plot is, and you want to just see for yourself. But I just wanted to do a comic about a baby and how hard I imagine it is to raise a baby by yourself.
Yeah, which you'll never know because you got a snip.
Yeah, right. Yeah.
No, that's not true. He can get it undone.
It's like between the vasectomy and me making a comic about the horrors of being a single mother, you guys can probably triangulate a lot of the shit that I'm dealing with privately.
Yeah, we didn't want to really say anything, but yes, sure. Yeah.
For my armchair psychology degree.
Dr. Melfi moment here, yeah.
But then like after like I wrote like I wrote many pages about just like how I imagine like infant turning into a toddler.
Yeah.
After that, I was like, I feel like, there are like motifs present within the work as it exists that I can have resonate into middle school, high school, and then early adult life. Mm-hmm. And then it kind of just came together pretty well. I went to a couple weddings in the last couple years that were just like such like and even though like the ceremonies nowadays are like 10 minutes long, it's still such an excruciatingly boring horror to suffer through.
Yeah.
And then like I just had like this like heap of blasphemous thoughts that I wanted to commit to the page. And it's kind of like, what I did in Blue Lives, where it's just like you can go to a party and you can tell someone about how much you don't like cops for like 2 hours in a row, and they'll be so bored they'll want to die.
Yeah.
Or you can make a comic about it and like, like figure out how to put those thoughts in an order that like actually appeals to a reader. I was trying to do the same shit with like, I can talk about how God is like a coward and a crybaby. And I can like paint Satan as like a cool, aloof guy. Yeah. And then I can like, kind of like just situate that in the book in a way that makes sense to me, because I don't feel like I'm like putting a square peg in a round hole. They kind of seem to mesh with one another. But that was an opportunity right there. Just, I'll do these two things.
When do you plan on putting that project out? It was pretty lengthy compared to your floppies of Grixly, so...
Yeah, I'm working on like, these boys have seen me working on the first, like, maybe 10 pages of it. So I'll be working on it for the next year, maybe year and a half.
Yeah.
And then it should be out in 2.
And you're still doing Grixly and
all the while, I'll
projects.
be doing Grixly long boxes. I'll be putting out 100 pages of just like subscriber material every year.
Yeah, so we said Blake was the machine, but I think it might be Nate now.
Uh-oh.
Blake's over here pointing his thumb at Nate. You all can't see it.
Blake is an absolute beast, and I feel like Blake's really been rubbing off on me because I've been putting in some.
He's been rubbing you off.
We've been
Hey,
sleeping
he did
in
that for us too. Shit.
We've been in the same room for the last few nights without any
yeah.
supervision.
That's
It
what I'm
gets very
talking
dark
about.
down here.
2 dudes just vibing.
Yep.
But
Just dudes being dudes. What's wrong
I've
with
been finding myself just responding with the hell yeah. Hell yeah.
that? Now,
I got high as fuck yesterday, and we were walking around out, like just checking out some waterfalls and chilling with one another.
Yeah.
oh yeah, that was sick. Yeah.
And Blake just, chilled and talked Punisher with me for a while.
Hell yeah.
all while also doing a full drawing.
Yeah.
Just like complete inking it while in the car on the way back.
With his toes, because he was explaining things with his hands. So
Yeah, so going back to what we've kind of watched you work on during this week, I remember going up to you and noticing that you were drawing on these like pre-penciled square sheets of paper. Mm-hmm. And I thought that was such a clever idea just because I hate doing, not thinking about layouts, but actually drawing the layouts, right? Like doing the panels, measuring everything, and yada yada. And you don't have to deal with that.
Yeah.
Because you're just doing these squares, and then you're going to just, put them on the page in any order you want.
Yeah, yeah.
So is this going to be like a 6 panel per page? Like, how are you going to lay this out?
Probably just 6 on a page. And it's like, I owe that debt to Chester Brown.
Okay.
And like,
okay.
I think like kind of like, what I did this as one like Wolverine bootleg comic I did with my buddy Nick. It was fun because
Wolverine.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah. But like, like we put together, like we just like drew and made tons of material. And then we had a stack of pieces of paper that had like maybe like 7, 8 different aspect ratios from like the top of the stack to the bottom.
Yeah.
And like we spent a morning just like chugging coffee and like saying like trying to figure out how we could make it all like produce in a single comic-sized comic. Mm-hmm. So I feel like it's like, and it never stymies me. It's always part of the fun to just like, I'm not thinking about, I probably ought to, but the dimensions of the final printed product before I start.
Yeah.
Well, I take some consideration of it, but then it's a kind of fun figuring it out in the by and by.
Well, let's get a little spicy on here. I don't know if it'll actually get spicy, but these panels that you're drawing, they aren't just square pieces of paper. Seems like it would be perfect for a swipe comic. What are your thoughts on these new swipe comics? You're kind of doing it, but
Oh, man.
but you could tell when you post your long boxes stuff that it's made for the page, because sometimes you'll have like weird, you'll see a cutoff from where like the page is sitting on the board or whatever surface you're taking the pictures on. So are you making this with the intention of posting it online? Are you making this with the intention of posting it online? I'm stalling because Nate just went and punched somebody. I can't see them because there's a column here. Oh, it was Dylan, drug dogs. Okay. So are you making this with the intention of posting a swipe comic online? How do you feel about this new trend of like swipe comics being made just for Instagram?
Well, because I've heard people talking about like swipe comics in a derogatory fashion all weekend, and it's kind of funny because I think like it's like I'm pretty sure that's what I've been doing this whole time, but like people like to pretend as though there's like a veneer of like artistic validity that like my work like maintains. So I'm flattered. Thanks.
Hey, it worked. Hey.
I just think that I think a lot of comics now are made with the swipe in mind, whereas you are thinking of you printed all that long boxes material in Grixly.
Yeah.
So I feel like you're working on the page, whereas with this one, you're doing these perfect square panels. I didn't know if that was your approach with it, but yeah, just go off, King.
Oh, I feel like there's like a parallel. You tell me if I'm off, but like there'll be people that'll talk to me, like they'll be like, this dude Corey Corcoran, who I'm real fond of, was interviewing me, and he's like talking about flippers as though they're like a devious grade of human being that exists entirely outside my sphere. So these fucking flippers, and it's like, oh, I'm a flipper by trade, and you can pretend that I'm not, but it's like, I'm sorry, dude, I'm fucking evil too, and I'm like beating you to the punch and getting the cool Kevin O'Neill comic that you wanted or whatever. But it's like, what were we talking about?
Swipe comics, your thoughts on them? Right.
No, it's just like, I can be like, no, I'm sorry. No, you good. I can be like, I don't do swipe comics. I do X, Y, and Z.
XYZ comic.
Yeah, big fans of Robert Crumb, every guest on this podcast. I work for the page, but I don't know, the trend of swipe comics, I think they're tight. I like them.
You like them?
I think it's kind of like those scooters that you see all over the place where people will be like, they absorb subsidies that should be going to public transit. And like, they're like, there's this like societal inequity in like the manner in which like they're like positioned and administrated when introduced to new cities. And it's like, this is all technically correct, but when you see people riding those scooters, they look fun as fuck.
Yeah,
and like, you see people on them who will be like, oh, these fucking scooters, I hate them.
Yeah.
And I say like, that looks like a blast.
Yeah.
And I've never rode one, but
Real quick, shout out to Chicago because they threw those motherfuckers right in the lake. Yeah, they had to stop. They had to discontinue that program.
I'd co-sign that. That's tight as fuck.
Yeah, it's sick as hell. So,
sorry that this is now a pro like tech scooter podcast.
yeah, that's what we are. A ping pong tournament endorsing pro tech
Silicon
scooter.
Valley funded.
So, I don't personally have an issue with swipe comics. I just believe that everything should be made to be printed on a page, which I think a lot of these swipe comics can be.
We're seeing that with Simon.
Yeah, with Simon, with Alex, Pettinger's actually taking his old shit and
Dog
turning it
biscuit,
into
right?
swipe. Yeah.
there
Dog
you go.
biscuits. Yeah. What did I say instead?
Dog biscuits.
Yeah. So I definitely. Oh yeah. Pat's Meat. Angry Birds, the comic.
Yes.
You got the license.
Officially licensed.
Yeah, Angry Bird comics. It's actually called Early Bird, right?
Listeners, I know that in the year 2021, you're laying there in bed right now at 5 a.m. listening to this podcast, playing Angry Birds. You're on hour number 11. I always know that Pat's captured the essence of the pleasure you're experiencing right now and put it on the
Absolutely.
comics page.
100%. So, what's your biggest pet peeve and gripe in comics right now?
And it can be small press. It can be big two. Whatever.
Right. It's people who are like, tell me what they think about superhero movies.
Okay. Yes.
Where it's like, is there anything that's like,
Oh, you make comics. What do you think about this movie?
yeah, totally.
Yeah, it's fucking annoying. Yeah.
Yeah, that might be it.
Okay. Oh, fair. All right. So there's nothing like formal
Yeah, like you don't have an
okay.
issue with like, you know,
or even petty, man. Make it petty. It doesn't even matter.
You said that we could talk about whatever. Nothing was off limits. So I'm trying to get you in some trouble here. Yeah.
Bait me.
Yeah.
There you go.
Yeah.
There you go.
All right. What do you think of? Do you agree with everything Frank Santoro posts on Instagram?
I don't look at posts on Instagram. I usually look at the first 3 once a day, and then I carry on with my business.
What do you think? You hang out with Santoro sometimes, right?
Yeah.
Does he rip your ass about having a Patreon? Because you stayed off Patreon for the longest time, I feel like.
I didn't bring that up. We just make fun of people in other cars as we pass
Hell
them.
yeah. Hell yeah.
We're a couple of hateful fellas.
Yeah. We're trying to get Santoro on the pod. Just so you know, Frank, I don't know if you listen to the pod, but I'm a fan of yours. So,
no, we both are.
we both are
Frank
fans
is
of yours.
cool.
We want you on the show, brother.
Because I feel like it's like there are people who like are like on paper they're like Frank, but like all of their like opinions and mannerisms are affected. Mm-hmm. He's got like this like super oblique approach to everything that is just like 100% sincere.
Yeah.
But like, well, I'm sorry. What was the question?
Oh, I was just trying to. I came up with something to just try to start shit. If you liked his social media presence where he just drags everything, I love it personally.
Yeah. I heard he does like videos where he'll flip out on a thing.
Yeah. He did my favorite one is the Gary Panner crash pad video, where he's bitching about how, you know, it's a $40 comic, it should be $5, but at the end, like, this thing looks like a dotted line, you know, it's like 20,000 story posts long, but at the end, he's like, if anybody wants a bootleg of this comic, and it's literally a video of him just running copies off.
Cool.
Yeah.
That sounds really fucking cool.
Yeah, I think it's sick. A lot of people hate it, but I think it's sick.
And it sounds like, it's kind of like one of those things where, like, people, like, pretend that a guy isn't self-aware.
Yeah, right.
You know? Where it's just like, he's
working.
He knows why you think it's funny, and he thinks it's funny, too.
Yeah.
Like,
our listeners don't get that concept for some reason.
It is wild to think about that. I mean, genuinely.
Yeah, like, I don't understand how all these people that fucking hate on us don't see through this shit.
Yeah. Like, no, I am totally a neo-Nazi. You figured it out. Yeah.
I want to paint just a little bit more of a picture for you listeners out there. There is a man silently reading Dune in this room right now.
While we're recording a podcast, Caroline's getting better at ping pong as I've been watching.
I really wish Caroline was a fencer. I don't know why, but like watching you play ping pong, I was like, you'd be a badass fencer.
Can I tell you guys a fencing story?
Yeah, please.
Did you see Fencing, the comic from Boom Studios? That's a real comic. It might not have been called Fencing, but it was about fencers.
I hope one day I can work from Boom Studios. Okay, cool. Now I'll talk some shit. I hope one day. I hope and pray to God when I lay in bed at night that one day I can work for Boom Studios and get paid $17 a page.
Yeah.
To do a fucking Adventure Time comic for them.
They have millions to pay for those licenses. Fucking idiots. But
okay, so I remember one time I was at summer camp and they had fucking a heap of fencing shit that we could fuck around with, and so we wore the masks and like the white things, like the costumes you strap on yourself, and we had the foils where they got like little rubber tips. They're not actual swords. They're like there's no sharpness to them.
Bendy swords.
That's it. Yeah. So what we did was so you need to make contact with your opponent's torso 3 times with the tip of the foil, the name of the sword. If you touch their head, you're automatically disqualified. And if you touch their arms or legs, it doesn't count, and you should try to avoid that. You just want to try to get those contacts from the point on the torso to win. So I wasn't good, and I sucked at that, and I lost a lot.
Just going straight for the genitals. Just
basically, it's like a chimp mauling. But I found out like about halfway into my like 3-week-long fencing career that if you manage to get your opponent to drop their sword / foil, they automatically lose. Okay. So it'd be like, coach would be like, 3, 2, 1, go, and I would go bat, 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 knock the foil out of a dude's hand in the first second, and win. And it was like turn around, victorious, sword raised. People hate me. Mega heel, ultimate heel. I'm a heel and I don't know I'm a heel.
So you technically won that. You won, yeah.
After that, I was undefeated.
When we say work smarter, not harder, this is what we mean. You just beat the shit out of the sword in their hand. How many times did you get away with this? Well, you said 3 weeks into your fencing career. How long did your fencing career last?
They eventually catch on to what your
it's the McDonough rule.
Yeah. It's like he clearly has a play going on.
They had officials from the state come down and wrap the building in caution tape and suspend all activities.
Oh man!
Did you fence for a long time though?
Oh no, I was done after that.
Oh, okay.
I haven't picked up a sword since.
Oh, okay, hell yeah! Except your pen, your inking tool, right? That's your sword.
The real sword, yes.
What's the sample from Shogun Assassin at the beginning of Liquid Swords?
I
cut off the head of 132 lords.
Yeah.
I'm sorry. We can carry on.
No. This is the good shit. This era of the pod is going to be talked about.
Wait, how has that not been in one of your comics?
Liquid Swords?
No, the fencing thing, because that is fucking amazing.
I don't know. I think it's like so far as like a punchline goes, and not that like a punchline has to like adhere strictly to a formula.
No.
But like if you want like go and get those early issues of Grixly to see like a super insecure like 19, 20, 21-year-old.
Can you even get those? You don't have those on your site, right?
If you can find them, and it's not, and it's like I'm not like bring it to me and I'll buy it from you and I'll burn it. I don't care, but like
I'll flip it.
Yeah.
Yes. If you track it down, the thing about them is a lot of the jokes were, I am so funny. And I said the funniest thing, and I'm just crazy.
Oh, man.
And everyone was so taken aback by how funny and crazy I was. And then, it's like, that, it goes without saying that shit ain't any good. But then it's like, I feel like the fencing thing is like, the proof is in the pudding. You guys thought it was funny, it would make a good comic.
Yeah.
But, like, it's just like, I never did it because it seems too close to, like, that, like, standard of, like,
right.
Yeah, you know what? I was just acting, do the craziest, funniest thing. Like,
I'm crazy.
Aren't I just the best?
But the humor comes out of the fact that you were doing this 100% with, like, a genuine...
Well, I was talking to someone yesterday where it's like I think it's like the lack of self-awareness in children is amazing.
It really is, yeah.
Where like I was praised for my posture. You boys are looking at me right now, and you got nothing to praise, but
Yeah.
Well, I was gonna say you got good posture, but what
you
do I
boys
know?
are nice.
Very tall, 6'7" here.
Handsome boy, handsome,
Horsecock, 12 inches soft.
huge. It's bumping into my leg.
Won't get you pregnant.
Oh, yes,
Sterilized.
that's right, yeah.
Oh God. Anyways, I was in 3rd grade, and Mr. Clark, this fucking dickhead teacher that I had, the first teacher I didn't like at all, but he because this dude was a fucking maniac. He read Dan Brown's Angels and Demons, and he ended class an hour and a half early one day so he could just relay the plot to us off the top of his head.
Hell yeah.
Like the Da Vinci Code prequel.
Yeah,
So then
yeah.
he's like,
What a fucking loser!
he was.
Imagine thinking
Dude, he was.
that was like you have no friends, so you have to fucking explain this shitty
Yes.
fucking
To children.
grocery store book that you
Yes.
got to a bunch of children who have no choice but to hear you.
Exactly right. No, and it's like I'd rather just like put my head down on the desk and be quiet, like we had to do when we were in trouble. You know?
Yeah, yeah.
So it's like,
No, yeah.
so he's like, so the evil cardinal has already been wounded by the assassin, and he's in the underground cavern, and he. Okay, no, wait, not yet. And so he's still going toward the underground cavern. And it's like. I feel like I learned a lot about storytelling from that, whereas this dude sucks dick at it.
Okay, now what? Okay, yeah.
But like the self-awareness of children, where it's like the same guy, where it's like me and him, like, you know, like sometimes we were foes, sometimes we were friends. We were friends on the day that he says, class, I'm seeing a lot of bad posture out there. I'm seeing you slouching over your desks, ruining your posture. Look at Nate. Do you see how he is sitting? And it's like, just consider how like now in a situation like that, you would wither with embarrassment. I so completely lacked self-awareness that I preened and panned about smiling at my classmates. Like, yes, my
like
posture
a fucking
is
show
excellent.
pony.
Yeah, no, totally. And then it's like, I caught an absolute avalanche of ass beatings in the next 2 weeks. And
You stood up straight after?
no, but it's like self-awareness. That's what I'm talking about. I didn't even know what it was from. It's like, why are they so mad at me? I don't understand.
Right.
Oh, hey guys, it's Cool Nate. Yeah, check him out. Yeah.
I showed them how good my posture was. I thought they'd want to be friends with me after that.
I passed the scoliosis test.
Oh shit.
So let's get back to comics and your approach on them. Do you start with the script? Do you work it out on the page? How do you tackle a comic? Like your process?
You write it down. You flesh it out. You do several drafts. You get a page, rule out panel borders, or don't, if you don't have to. You put down letters, pencils, pencil art, and ink it, and scan it, and then level adjust it in Photoshop, adjust it to print size.
Hell yeah, okay.
Pray to God for forgiveness.
All right, so before you were in Pittsburgh, you are in Pittsburgh now, and definitely I feel like one of the definitive cartoonists of that scene. Where were you before that?
I was in Columbus, Ohio for roughly 14 months. Before that, I was in Watertown, Wisconsin for near a decade. Before that, I was in Spotsylvania, Virginia, famous Civil War battlegrounds.
Sounds made up.
No, dude, like my third grade guidance counselor, and that's a fucking made up bullshit job if I ever heard one before. And like I was even like, who the fuck is this dude? Did he just wander into the school and he's like
Also
bothering
a
us now?
huge loser.
Yeah, no, for sure. And he asked me where I was from. I said Spotsylvania. He called my mom at work and said like that I was like being a bad motherfucker. Or he said, your child is misbehaving and he's telling a couple of fibs and he's pulling my leg. Because this is Wisconsin after all. And then she's like, no, we moved from Spotsylvania. Can I please get back to work? Like, leave me the fuck alone. So yeah, it sounds made up. Agreed. But then before that, it was Arlington, Virginia.
And so were you making comics have comics been a presence in your whole life?
Yeah, my uncle, when I was a kid, he would he's now passed, but he was a very fucking cool dude. And his wife, when I talk about comics around her, she gets so fucking angry. He's like, change subject. Where like a dude who was that into comics got me into comics, and he would give me his old Wolverines and Ghost Riders. and he gave me like comics in copious volume. He'd take me to conventions. It's like he would take me to the convention where I got like the Death of Superman t-shirt, where the shirt is black, the Superman logo is on it, and there's like the Doomsday fist tearing through it with little bone spikes on it.
Hell yeah.
The classic tee, yeah.
And like that thing, like I remember on Thanksgiving I puked so hard on that thing in a hotel room that my mom had to cut it off of me with scissors.
Like the ER.
Like you just OD'd on heroin.
Yeah. Amazing. And you just ate too much? That's what happened? It was Thanksgiving?
Oh yeah.
Okay, hell yeah.
I never say
little
food
bit of
poisoning
overkill.
because people always claim food poisoning. It don't mean a goddamn thing anymore.
Yeah.
No, that might have been overkill, but yeah.
So, what was the first comic you ever made? Do you remember the first work you were trying to make?
I did these absolute solemn, dead, stone-faced Wolverine versus Ninja comics, Latin with narration. Where you
Sounds so tight.
I do that, and I do like Daredevil pining over like now dead Elektra and like seeing a specter of her, and then like Batman like telling the Joker about how he was really going to kill him this time.
So at that age, you were already at the top tier of DC's writer list.
Yeah.
It's fucking wild.
No, for sure, just maximum pathos. Yeah, it was a child. Yeah.
Very nice.
So you seem very well versed in, big two mainstream comics. Do you have any desire to ever work in mainstream comics?
I was talking probably you fellas and at least someone else about how like if the opportunity ever presented itself, I'd give it a shot. But I'm already 100% sure that it would be fucking garbage. We're like, something I was talking to my boy Craig about is how I want to do a Spider-Man comic where it's like there's a B plot and a C plot. The B plot is like J. Jonah Jameson like is about to get married again to a lady who lives in a retirement community. And the C plot is like Aunt May like got her like antipsychotic medication switched over, and now she has to go to CVS instead of Walgreens. And then like so like those like comprise like 4 pages of the comic, but then like 18 pages of the comic will be Venom ripping people in half and chugging their blood.
Yeah.
All pretext is gone. Fuck that.
But it's a thing though. It's like if Marvel was like write a Spider-Man book, I'd be like, here's my idea, and they'd say, no, we can't do that. Like the current crossover is about how the leader has built a mega bomb and or like whatever, and then it's like, okay, I can toe the line and do that. Like if you're paying me fucking $400 a page or whatever,
right.
Then it's like, okay, sweet. But I don't know.
Do you keep up with mainstream comics at all? Like the current product stuff?
Not at all. And it's not even like me trying to be a snob, but it's like I'm literally unable to read the stuff.
Yeah.
And it's like past a particular point of like sophistication and the digital coloring, my eyes they glaze over and I can't help it.
Are you not a fan of digital coloring at all?
There's some that I like. Something we were talking about yesterday when we were down in we were hiking around in the hills is that issue of Savage Dragon where it's the pink lady with the venom like teeth and the big tongue. Do you guys know what I'm talking about?
I do, yeah.
And
one of his exes who's like possessed by a demon or something.
that's it, yeah. And then and like she's got his decapitated head and she's holding it in her hand and like the blood's running down her forearm.
Yeah.
It's pretty sick. And I remember I would read and reread that one a lot when I was a kid. And I would like hide it between like my box spring and my mattress.
Very nice.
Like it was like the fucking Hustler. So that my mom couldn't find it. Because the cover, like the lady's got like nipples visible through her torn garment. Further, she has like the digital gradient of like whatever proto Photoshop existed at the time. Her is a perfect spheroid of like gradation and color for her breasts.
Yes.
So
yes.
It's like leaving a kid with an impression that like like one day you'll get to see titties and they will be
You're gonna be so let down.
in a Euclidean style. They will be perfect globes and you'll like it most likely. But then it's like, and I mean I guess that's a pretty bad answer to like, do you like digital coloring? Where like there's like some that doesn't offend me, but like that it's like that's like a weird example of being fat.
Yeah. What do you think about Dark Knight 2's coloring?
I don't know. Where it's like people say like, you know what? It's better than the first one.
Yeah, I hate that shit.
And I'm not gonna be that guy. It's cool. It's fun. Like I don't even like it well enough to like have it in the house from like day to day, month to month. Where it's like I'll like buy it for $1, read it, and sell it. But like I just it's fine. I like Lynn Varley a lot though. Her like
Lynn Varley rocks.
Yeah, DKR1. Lynn Varley. It's the best coloring that was ever in a superhero book, except for maybe Mazzucchelli. But
yeah, absolutely agree with that. So
or Windsor Smith.
You were telling me there's like certain comics that you'll buy if it's in the dollar bin multiple times. Rattle off some.
Always Corbin, always Kirby, always Ditko. I'll get like old, but if it's like Fantagraphics is on it, you know that it's got some certain level of quality.
Yeah.
Hate 8-Ball, the 0-0 anthology. I'll grab there'll be like weird shit though. Like there's a comic called Judo Joe that came out from this like fly-by-night outfit called Ace Comics. That it was like they're trying to resurrect this property from the 1950s, and it's a piece of shit comic. The writing's bad, the art is bad. The lettering is really, really fucking good, and the letterer is credited as Chick Chumley.
It's like Tracy villain.
Stickly.
Yeah. Dude, you look at it, and the lettering is like. Because like normally it's like all uppercase, but like this is like uppercase and lowercase, and everything's got like a neat serif on it. It was a young Dan Clowes who lettered the thing.
Oh, wow.
Yeah.
Okay.
So it's like I'll find shit like that, and it's like of course I'll buy that.
Yeah.
But weird shit like that, niche.
Is there anything that you're looking for, like your holy grail that you want for yourself? What's your holy grail comic?
Listen to the Patreon, find out more.
$10.
Yeah.
It's like schizophrenic maniacs who like go on like violent missions from God. Like they make comics too, and like you can still find them out there. And if you subscribe to these boys' excellent Patreon and get all this high quality material, you can find out more about them.
Like ping pong sounds in the background.
This is the main feed.
Yeah, right. Oh, this one's free. Okay, that's why
we're just wearing the listener down so that they have to listen to the Patreon episodes.
What are we at time-wise? All right.
Let's bring this in for a landing, boys. I'm gonna drop the landing gear right now.
Yeah. Wait, what'd you say?
I'm about to drop the landing gear.
Yeah. Let's do it. So we did get a couple questions. We're streaming this live in our Discord right now.
69% funded.
So Jasper Jubinville is 69% funded on Kickstarter now. So
less than 24 hours.
Less than 24 hours.
3.5 hours.
Yeah.
Course,
So how do you feel about Jasper? Actually, you said we'll hash this out on the pod. I heard that you and Jasper actually already buried this hatchet. But why did you unfollow young Jasper Jubinville?
Yeah, I saw that bullet that fell out of your pocket that just had Jasper crudely written, just scratched into the end of the bullet, and I was like, "What's that about?"
I hashed a cross into the tip of the bullet so Christ forgives him for his sins. Well, no, consider how it was an accident that I unfollowed him on social media, and you can believe me or you can not believe me, but the proof is in the pudding. That boy is the absolute cat's pajamas, and I am so very fond of him. Enough so that I self-published like an indie comics anthology with like dozens of artists in it.
We're really fucking up. We didn't even bring this up. Imperial Egg.
Yeah, Imperial Egg, #1. It's out. It's the shit. And who in the world am I going to put on the cover of that thing? No contest. I don't have to think about it for more than 0.03 seconds. It's Jasper Jubinville. He's so fucking good.
Yeah.
So, that's right. We're here on the pod to hash out the beef with a young, polite Canadian artist.
Jasper, if you're listening to this, your Kickstarter will be way past funded and the book will be out because this is so far in the future. But I hope you got paid in Canadian dollars because you're going to be very rich. Or no. I hope you got paid in U.S. dollars.
If this was Canadian money, he'd be screwed.
Congrats, we love you. We're excited.
Yeah, your stupid ass funny money. Feels like plastic melts in your fucking wallet. I literally had Canadian bills that got stuck together from being like this clear bullshit.
With your loons, your Looney Tunes,
and your loonies, whatever they fucking cost.
You're gonna have dudes who are horny for Dynamite Diva asking you for your autograph, though. I need you to get ready for that.
They're gonna ask you to dress up like Dynamite Diva, Jasper.
Right, let's get to the questions because we got a couple from the Discord here.
Yeah, I think we did. Hang on, I'm having a scroll.
Or maybe we didn't.
Okay.
Nope, we did?
We got 2. Okay. Right. Oh, here you go. This is very timely. Bayless_171 ask him if he is jealous about Jasper's Kickstarter. It's just because they've been talking. It's not really directed toward you. They've literally been talking about Jasper's Kickstarter in here all day.
Yeah.
But Jasper, I'm very jealous. You're getting a fucking bag. Give me some money.
Yeah, it's all in the family, brother. We need at least 4 points kicked up to us. Just saying.
Yeah.
My answer, bitterly so, it consumes me. I really hate to see a thing like that.
Really and truly hate it.
All right, and this very thoughtful question comes from Carolyn Cash. Just kidding.
Pardon, that's Caroline
Cash. Caroline Cash. Caroline asked, question for Nate. Who do you think will win the ping pong, me or Pat?
Let me take a quick look at these guys.
4 minutes of ping
I think
pong.
Caroline's going to win.
It's absolutely Caroline.
Alrighty, so Nate, we're about to go ahead and go home here.
Let's take it home, baby.
Let's take it home. Where can people find you online? Plug your shit. We appreciate you coming on.
Grixly.com. I'm Grixly Cola on IG. I post shit all the time. I try to put new comics up roughly every day. And that's about it.
What's your Patreon?
I appreciate you guys interviewing me. I appreciate everybody listening. I do have a Patreon for $2 a month. You'll get I'll send you more than 4 comics per year. At the very least 4 comics. Probably 5, maybe 6.
For the low price of $24 a year.
Yeah,
And
great deal.
And then 7, you get a ton more stuff, but I'm still kind of hashing all this stuff out. Can we talk about Alan Moore's Swamp Thing for an hour?
Yeah, let's go off.
I got to finish talking about that yet.
All right. Well, thanks again for coming on. Definitely, we're hitting a lot of like check marks this week.
Yeah.
In terms of having people on that we've been meaning to have on for so fucking long, and it's just been a real fucking joy to meet a well-adjusted, normal human being who's not online all the time like us.
I'd like to. Oh, and then a quick thing. I'd like to greet some vets from the show. MS Harkness, hello. Caleb Orecchio.
Shout out, Caleb.
Yeah, what
God
up, Caleb?
damn, that might be my favorite Gutter Boys episode. I'd like to say hello to him.
He was funny.
as well.
He was funny.
Right, yeah.
Then no. We got to talk about Patrick Sparrow for just a second.
See, we're going to do it at the end to see if he really listens.
I warned you guys earlier that he talked about me for about 23 minutes, so I'm going to have to do another 37.
Yeah, go for it. I'm going to go to the bathroom. I'll be back.
I've got a bulleted list.
Yeah, go off. Or do you really have... shout out Patrick Sparrow.
He's a sweet boy. I love him. He's absolutely... Pogger's talented. Every panel is a delight. Every line is a delight. Every little dot on Peeper Creeper's shriveled up ass is a delight. Patrick Sparrow is cool as they come. He's got a good heart. He is the funniest dude I know. I love his comics so much. I want to move to Canada and live by him, and I think he'll permit it.
Yeah, he seems to really be infatuated with you.
Yeah. It sounded.
Now that you got that vasectomy, it's probably a sure deal. Sure shot.
Well, yeah, I mean, we'll still try it. And Patrick, you know what, man? Like, vasectomies can be reversed, and it's never guaranteed, but I'll give it a shot. I'll pay the 10 G's, and we'll have a 50-50 chance. I might still knock you up. Thanks, everybody, for listening. Thanks, Cam. Thanks, JB. Have a good night, guys.
Yeah, stay
Of course,
good.
and you got to come back on the Patreon because you're a hell of a guest.
Oh, yeah, that too. All right, yeah. Now for real, stay gutter.
Yeah.
Now when the MCs came, live out the name, and to form some had snort coat, aim, act insane. Before he rocked it on, now on the mental plane, to spark your brain. Built in to be born, and yo, choke with the track, but the what? Cut, get the fake. Get flipped and fight, and swing swords and cut clowns. Too swift to bite and record and write it down. I flow like blood on a murder scene, like a syringe or some wild out to insert a vein. But it was no op, the shop, stolen art, kept the swollen heart from not rolling smart. I put mad pressure, phony back rhymes, you get hurt. No, it's played like zodiac signs, sweatshirt. That's minimum, and feminine like sandals. My minimum table stack, the verse on the gamble. Energy is felt, want the card to death. With the impact, roundhouse kicks from black belt. That attack, the microphone like cyclone, the typhoon. I represent from midnight to high noon. I never waste ink, yo, I just think I drop megaton bars more faster than you blink. Cause rhyme thoughts travel at a tremendous speed to cloud the smoke of natural blends weed. Only under one circumstance is if we're burning, turn that up, my clan in the